나무 묘호랭개교 나무 묘호랭개교 나무 묘호랭개교 Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Hi, everyone. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thanks for being here. I hope this finds you healthy and secure, safe. Why start with that rhyme? Well, some of you may have guessed already. I put up a video recently on why we repeat the 10 Suchnesses 3 times during Gongyo. And I found a translation of some of Nichiren's doctrines that he would have shared with his intimate disciples, people to whom he not only would have discussed, of course, Lotus Sutra Buddhist practice, but people with whom he would expect to probe deeply into the meanings of specific words in the Lotus Sutra and other teachers' teachings like Chi or Dengyo, to probe foundational thinking, to provide this kind of thinking for his teachers. Not that they were expected to share these thoughts and ideas with the general public, because it might be a little too jarring, but in order, because they were intimate teachers, scholars, some of them from Tendai, some of them from other disciplines, who had come to Nichiren and dove deeply into his doctrines and elucidations of the Lotus Sutra. He shared with them intimate understandings to aid in their foundational practice, dedication, their own enlightenment, and from that place of understanding, offer teachings to the laity or even other monks, right? So we have the privilege of having translations of these teachings, which we can share with one another. So today I wanted to go over Nichiren's teaching of the 10 Suchnesses. How unexpected. 442. Yes, you can see this is a very large printing of Jacqueline Stone's dissertation. This is not her translation, but a scholarly translation that she used in her investigation, contained in this book. And because it's a different source than the Zenshu, this is from the STN library. The above section of the text is almost identical to the opening passage of the book. Okay, so I'm wanting to explore scholarship, as I've said before. I'm going to reinvestigate not only Nichiren's Gosho, but other writings of his from different schools of translation. And I'm trying, as always, to distance our learning and our understanding of Lotus Sutra, Buddhism, and Nichiren's doctrines on how to do so, or how to understand, in fact, the placement of the Lotus Sutra and Buddhism in general, without not only cultural bias, but sectarian bias. And, I've brought up the Angikuden, and that's a touchstone. And there's a translation in here that we're going to get to. That one has been massively politicized between mainly two sects, but certainly by the one sect, and I think you all know who I'm talking about, and their laity organization, which they've disowned, by the way, but it continues to refer to them as authority. It's amazing the politics involved in enlightenment. It's crazy. So I don't want to dwell too much on that, but there is substantial investigation from Nichiren. Some of these things we read end with "keep this secret," not because it's dangerous so much as I said earlier, this is a teaching moment to other teachers, and that many people in the society, because of the politics and the shogunate and other things at the time, could prove dangerous for them to hear without complete understanding, or sharing without understanding. This is one of those things that teachers share to lend insight to their teachings of others, but they have to be careful how they word things, not to provide information that might lead to misinterpretation or sharing without preparedness, that kind of thing. So it's not meant that it's supposed to be kept away from people so much as it's supposed to be a deeper teaching and not provided simply on its face, but couched in much other scholarship. Make sense? For the same reason I wouldn't teach a 4-year-old quantum physics. Just, right? And that 4-year-old may pick up some words and start spreading them around. Then I got a bunch of people who are right. Okay, so enough on secrecy. The 10 Suchnesses. Our own person is the Tathagata of original enlightenment who possesses the 3 bodies in one. Right? We discussed that when we discussed our repetition 3 times for each body. So now we're going to dig into that. What does that mean? How does that affect or deepen our understanding of what we're doing in our Buddhist practice? The present Lotus Sutra explains this in the passage, the suchness of their characteristics, the suchness of their nature, the suchness of their essence, the suchness of their power, the suchness of their activity, the suchness of their causes, the suchness of their conditions, the suchness of their effects, and the suchness of their recompense, and the suchness of their ultimate reality or equality from beginning to end. Right? This is what we're reciting. Nyose in, nyose en, nyose kan, nyose ho. Right? Now, what you'll, I think, find interesting in this, as I manage this massive book, is there's a lot of numbers in Buddhism, right? 10 of these, 3 of that. How does 10 fit into 3, so on and so forth? I'm going to tell you. First, the suchnesses of their characteristics refers to the characteristics that appear in the color and form of our body. So that's a suchness of characteristics, is all of the aspects of our appearance. Right? This is also referred to as the manifest body Tathagata. Now, this is confusing because what we're saying here, or what Nichiren is saying here, is the way you appear is also understood as the manifest body of the Tathagata. Now, don't get confused here, because just reading that, you might say, oh, I am Buddha. Well, the answer is yes and no. We must remind ourselves, and Nichiren will do so. And to be fair, I'm jumping into this in the middle. I'm not starting at the beginning. Nichiren's thought and his teaching always truth as provided through our chanting of the Daimoku, our recitation of the Lotus Sutra, and our sole practice of doing just that. Nichiren's scholarship and, how can I say this? His fundamental teaching to you and I is that in this age of Mappo, all of the other teachings, the previous teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, are in fact unusable. And we'll read about that and why he says that. They're all expedient means, provisional teachings. Because I'll give you a shorthand right now just to help. All of the teachings prior to the Lotus Sutra taught a long duration of practice in order to finally, this is why the word attainment, attain Buddhahood, asamkaya kalpas of millenniums and rebirths before finally, if you practice hard enough for long enough, you might awaken your Buddha nature, your Buddha-ness. But this is because this was all teaching for other preparatory teaching to get them to move along and deepen their understanding of the nature of phenomena, beginning with their own. So you have certain beginning teachings, 5 periods, right? The first 4, or the first 3, really focused on this self thing. And ultimately, the 4th also, perfection of wisdom, prajna teaching about understanding with the mind the nature of this ephemeral, empty self. But it's not, this takes a long time to understand and to inculcate into our understanding. We've talked about the middle way and how coursing as a bodhisattva, we reinvestigate the nature of everything and see it as a flow, right? That's all about this 4th level of teaching. But it's not until the Lotus Sutra, the perfect teaching, that Shakyamuni teaches his own method of attainment. This is the drop the mic moment. Okay, this is how you do it. Now that I've prepared you for 42 years, these final 8 years, kaboom. And we'll read about that as well. And according to Nichiren, the Lotus Sutra makes this obvious as that which happens instantaneously when we invoke with conviction born of understanding, the Lotus Sutra and its title, Myoho Renge Kyo. From that act, we don't wait to accomplish Buddhahood. We invoke it immediately as it is already extant. It's a perceptive change of understanding that all that we experience, it's like waking from a dream. We don't get rid of it. All of the logic and weirdness and dreamlike quality of everything we experience doesn't go away. It's just that we understand it as this process of phenomena, life. And that perspective is our Buddha mind, seeing correctly the unattached obviety of our environs as ourselves part of the part of the process. It's a hard thing to switch. So let's see how Nichiren talks about it. Suchness of their character refers to the characteristics that appear in the color and form of our body. This is also referred to as the manifest body Tathagata, which we've discussed this. Emancipation and the truth of provisional existence. This is a fancy way of saying the process. Emancipation being freed from the attachments, the identification with, and seeing instead that ourselves, as well as everything we experience, is provisional. It's just momentary. It's an ephemeral understanding of our experience. I don't know where my mouth goes sometimes. Next, the suchness of their nature, right, refers to the nature of our mind. This is also called the recompense body, Tathagata. This is where does realization happen? In our mind. The prajna and the truth of emptiness. This what I've been talking about is this energy and this flow, this constant frequency, vibrations, amalgam of energies. Prajna is our mental perception of how everything is of that same source, including ourselves. Witnessing it. Witnessing the dream as a dream and as a reality. Now, don't get confused. I'm not saying our dreams are real. I'm saying the dream of our lives as solid thingness, our solidification of things, our thignifying, right? Our identification is the dream. And perceiving it for what it is as we experience it is awakening. Follow? Keep up with me. We only have 3 basic ones here, so we've done the second one. This is also called the recompense body, right? Prajna and the truth of emptiness. It's when we get it. Third, the suchness of their essence refers to our physical entity. This understanding of our samsaric, physical embodying of those other things, the nature and the characteristics. What I look like and what I think of as a self is embodied in my entity, the way I course through this samsaric world. This refers to our physical entity. This is also called the Dharma body, Tathagata, the middle way, the Dharma nature, the quiet extinction. So this could be confounding in the mind, right? If I'm awakening, then why am I extinct? But it's not an extinction of samsara. It's an extinction of all of the baggage, the bag of Bob, the box of Sylvain, the bag of Betty, if you will, that we carry along dignified as our identity When we relinquish that, it gets quiet. We see it all, we experience it all, but we're no longer identified with it. We identify then with our perceptive Tathagata, our Buddha mind. See, these are just different ways of saying the same thing we've been talking about all along. Thus, these three suchnesses correspond to the three Tathagata bodies. We think of these three suchnesses, which are the three Tathagata bodies, as existing apart from us in other places, other teachings, but they are in fact ourselves. One who has understood thus can be called a person who has realized the Lotus Sutra. With these three suchnesses as their beginning, the remaining seven suchnesses emerge. Those are emergent suchnesses from those first three inertias, momentum, energetic forms. The other suchnesses arise. These 10 suchnesses, in turn, form the 100 realms, right? We've talked about them. The 10 suchnesses are related here by Nichiren to the 10 worlds, the 10 realms. And so these 10 suchnesses in turn form the 100 realms. If each of the 10 realms, the 10 worlds, have 10 suchnesses, that's 100 worlds, let alone that they're interpenetrating, right? There are 10 worlds within the 10 worlds. Notice that if the 10 worlds are in the 10 worlds, then Buddhahood is in all of them. The three bodies of the Buddha are in hell, animality, hunger, yeah, right? On and on. Therefore, that renders the 1,000 suchnesses and the 3,000 realms, right? We can do all the math here, but you follow how all of this is connected? And what he's talking about is Chi Yi's proposal of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment. So this is ongoing, constantly, moment to moment, birth, death, in life. These suchnesses are here, we're experiencing them, although without insight from the Lotus Sutra, without daimoku, without Buddhist practice, we see them all as real. And so the analogy of a dream is used to understand more profoundly that everything we experience is ephemeral. It's moment to moment. It's not solid. But in our human mind, our unenlightened mind, we perceive it as real, extant, constantly there. Do you see? In this way, they expand into many doctrines and are called the repository of 80,000 dharmas. Yet they all originate with the single dharma of the three truths. Apart from these three truths, there are no doctrines. The reason is the 100 realms corresponds to the truth of provisional existence, the 1,000 suchnesses to the truth of emptiness, and the 3,000 realms to the truth of the middle way. These are all aspects of awakening, that when you understand, you see this and this and this. Emptiness, provisional existence, and the middle way are called the three truths. Though they expand into many doctrines of the 100 realms, 1,000 suchnesses, and 3,000 realms, all these originate from a single doctrine, the three truths. This being the case, the three truths of the first three Suchnesses and the three truths of the next seven Suchnesses are the same three truths. Thus, beginning and end and the principle within ourselves are but a single thing. Because this is inconceivable, the Buddha expounded that beginning and end are ultimately equal. Onmaku Kyoto. This is called the suchness of their ultimate equality from beginning to end, which is how we close the Nyose So section, right? The 10 suchnesses, of which the first three suchnesses represent beginning and the latter 7 suchnesses end, are the three truths within us. Since these three truths are the three Tathagata bodies, then apart from our own body and mind, there exists not even a hair's breadth of Dharma. Whether good or evil, this being the case, we ourselves are at once the Tathagata of original enlightenment, possessing the three bodies in one. Might need to stop there. Where are we time-wise? So, okay. I know I walk a dangerous line here, because as we read this uninitiated, it starts to become word salad, doesn't it? But can you take out of this the idea that we are enlightened beings who are simply ignorant of that fact? And that the only way we can awaken to the amazing potential and opportunity of our enlightened mind is by dispelling this 80,000 dharmas that don't really exist of the way we think we understand samsara, the way that we perceive the world of things and attitudes and disappointments and elations and ownership and all of those characteristics and aspects of the primary point being the delusion of permanent abiding selfness. Far from losing ourself, we rediscover ourselves as the process itself of all phenomena. This moving, never stopping, never a particle, but a wave, constant movement, development, experience. And that everything we apply that filter to is also, like us, moving, momentum, kinetics, constantly in change. So to attach to an aspect of something in a moment is delusion, because the moment you do that, it's no longer that. It's moving along. So when we change our perception of self and everything that we're experiencing, suddenly limitations blow away. Everything can be perceived along with self as everything. Everything in motion. Everything in change. In space-time. Oops, I threw science in there, sorry. Same thing. So that when we chant, Namu Myo Renge Kyo, our entire world, including self, shifts, vibrates a little, and we experience that truth. Excuse me, soda. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Why would we be merry? Because we're no longer affected. We're simply immersed in the experience. The deep wonder, appreciation, compassion of being in the flow of everything. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. It even sounds like a flow. We repeat it like waves against the shore. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Right? Buddhism is about this rhythm of all phenomena. Instantiating, enduring, decay, fade away. Instantiating, enduring, decay, fade away. And we're going along with it. Part of it. In it. But experiencing it. What a unique position to be in. Buddha mind. The three bodies. Right? Manifest, recompense, reward, Dharma. The obviousness of it, Dharma. Okay? So, a little on Suchnesses. It's not that much longer. I'll leave that for another video, and then we'll dive into something else. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. That's amazing. You guys have a strong practice, I know, because you keep coming back, listening, downloading podcasts. Those of you who can, support financially and with offerings, and that's invaluable, keeps this Sangha going, studying, researching. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with all of that, keep on liking and sharing. Subscribe, please subscribe. It helps to strengthen our Sangha and grow it. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks again. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Take care of yourself, be kind, and I'll see you in the next one.